Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about the defects of vision. So basically, we'll be discussing what all defects can affect our eyes. And if you want to get detailed notes of these topics, you can visit our website, that is www.sureshagarwal.in. So this is our website. As you can see on your screen, the address has been mentioned. Do visit it if you want to get some really good handmade notes of science. Now, moving ahead, the first defect of vision that we are going to talk about in this video is myopia. As you can see, the word myopia is a short word. So, since it is a short word, it means short-sightedness. So, short-sightedness means that the person is able to see the nearby objects clearly, but he cannot see the distant objects clearly. So, that is what is meant by short-sightedness. We can also call it as nearsightedness. So when the person is able to see the nearby objects clearly, but he is not able to see the distant objects clearly, we say that the person is suffering from myopia, right? So as you can see in the points here, the first point says a person can see nearby objects clearly, but he cannot see the distant objects clearly. This we have already discussed. Then the far point of a myopic person is nearer than infinity. What is the range of vision of a normal human eye? A normal eye can see in a range of 25 centimeters to infinity. That means the nearest point where we can see clearly is 25 centimeters, and the farthest point up to which we are able to see is infinity if our eyes are perfectly normal, because we can see the stars, we can see the sun, which are at an infinite distance from us, isn't it? And you may also say that, ma'am, we can even see closer than 25 centimeters. Yes, you can, but it puts a strain on your muscles, on the muscles of your eyes, on your eyes, and that is, it's not always advisable to do that. And we often tell children that please keep your book at a proper distance when you are reading it. So the appropriate distance at which, uh, for a near vision I'm talking about, the distance maintained should be around 25 centimeters. Now, in case of myopia, since the person is not able to see the distant objects clearly, that means his far point is not infinity. That means his far point is not infinity. It cannot be greater than infinity. So obviously it will be less than infinity. So the far point of a myopic person is nearer than infinity, means that it is less than infinity. Then in case of myopia, the image is formed in front of the retina. That means the image is formed before the retina. So let's have a look at the ray diagrams for this defect. So these are the ray diagrams. In first case, we have been seeing the far point of a myopic eye. Now, just now I explained what is the far point. Far point over here means that if the object is placed at this particular point O, the image is being formed at the correct place, that is on the retina. But if we take this object beyond this point, that is, if we increase the distance of this point from the eye, the image will not be formed on the retina. And just have a look at the second diagram. Where does the image go? The image is now formed in front of the retina. So this is what exactly happens when a person is suffering from myopia, that the rays which are coming from a distance, they converge in front of the retina. So the image is not formed on the retina, instead it is formed in front of the retina. Now, how to correct this defect? This defect can be corrected by using this lens, and you can very easily identify which lens is this. Yes, it is a concave lens which we have used over here, because we need to diverge the light rays so that they are able to reach up to the retina. So since a concave lens is a diverging lens, we use this lens. So when the light rays, they enter the lens diverges them at this point, and the image which was earlier being formed somewhere over here is now being formed on the retina. Now you must understand this, that the retina is made up of light sensitive cells, rod cells and cone cells. If the image will not be formed on the retina, the cells will not get the sensation and proper image. If the sensation will not be there, obviously there will be no message to the brain, or if at all the image is slightly in front or slightly behind the retina, the impulse will be very, very weak. So in that case, even if a person is able to see, he'll be able to see the things in a blurred view. His vision will not be clear. So that this is what exactly happens in myopia. Now let us discuss what are the causes of myopia. Why does it happen? So the causes of myopia are the high converging power of the eye lens. Now, if the eye lens has a very high converging power, so what does it do? It bends the rays more. So you can just imagine if this is the eye lens, the convex lens that is present inside your eye, and these are the rays coming, and suppose this is the retina over here, and if it bends the light too much, then the rays, they converge ahead of the retina. They converge before they reach the retina. So at this point, the image will be formed. So if the lens has a high converging power, then the person suffers from myopia. Another cause can be elongation of the eyeball. That means if the eyeball is a bit broad, so even if the lens is converging the light normally, the image will be formed in front of the retina, because it's the retina which has gone behind. The image is being formed where it should have been, but the retina has moved back because of the shape of the eyeball, because the eyeball is elongated. So these are two causes of myopia, why it may happen. Then correction, we have already seen in the ray diagram that it can be corrected by using a concave lens of a suitable power. So if we use a proper concave lens with a desired focal length, so that the image, it gets focused on the retina, the defect of myopia can be corrected. Now let us take up one more defect, and that defect is a hypermetropia. So the second defect we are going to talk about in this video is hypermetropia. Now as you can see, it's a long word. So here we have long-sightedness. So long-sightedness means the person is able to see the distant things clearly, but he is not able to see the nearby objects clearly. Long vision, long-sightedness. He is able to see at far off things very clearly, but he is not able to see the nearby things clearly. So that is what is known as hypermetropia. We can also call it as far-sightedness. Far-sightedness means you can see the far off objects clearly, but you cannot see the nearby objects clearly. So the first point gives you the definition. A person can see distant objects clearly but cannot see the nearby objects clearly. The second point tells you that the normal near point of a hypermetropic person is more than 25 centimeters. So this is very, very clear that for a normal eye, the near point is 25 centimeters. Obviously, if a person is suffering from hypermetropia, the object cannot be placed closer than 25 centimeters. So obviously it has to go away. So the normal near point of a hypermetropic person will be more than. So it's further away. That means it is more than 25 centimeters, right? Then the image is formed behind the retina. In case of myopia, we said the image was formed in front of the retina. Now in case of hypermetropia, the image goes behind the retina. Let us understand this in a better way with the help of some ray diagrams. So here we have the ray diagrams. The first one shows you the near point of a hypermetropic eye. Near point means if the object is placed over here, the person can see clearly. But if we move the object in front, suppose we move the object to this point, then what happens? Then you can see in the second figure what happens. Now we have brought the object in front, and you can see the image has gone behind the retina. In this case, this was the near point of a hypermetropic eye, which was greater than 25 centimeters. Now if we bring the object to 25 centimeters, the image has gone behind the retina. So this is what exactly is hypermetropia. Now moving ahead, the correction for hypermetropia, we have used a convex lens over here. So this is a convex lens, which is a diverging lens. Sorry, which is a converging lens. So what it does is that it converges the beam of light, and it makes the light rays meet earlier as compared to what it was as compared to when it were meeting in case of the hypermetropic eye without correction. And so the image, it comes on the retina and the vision gets corrected. So these three ray diagrams explain what is myopia, what about the near point of a hypermetropic eye, and how we can correct this defect of vision. Now, let's discuss the causes of hypermetropia. The causes of hypermetropia may be the low converging power of the eye lens. In case of myopia, we said the lens was converging the light rays a bit too much. But in case of hypermetropia, we say that the lens is converging the rays less. So if this is the retina and this is the lens, so the lens is not able to bend the rays as much as required. So if it's bending it less, they intersect behind the retina. So this is what happens in case of hypermetropia. The second reason may be that the eyeball is small in size. So if the eyeball is small, then what happens? The rays, they are converging normally, but because the eyeball is small, the retina tends to come in front and the rays are converging at the proper place. So it is the retina which has moved ahead, not the light rays. So this cause is actually genetic. If the eyeball is small, or as we said in case of myopia, the eyeball is broad. So these two causes are generally genetic, and they can be corrected, yes, by use of proper lens. The vision can be corrected. Then correction is by using a convex lens of a suitable power. This we have already seen in the ray diagrams. Now, children of a young age, they generally suffer from myopia. Hypermetropia generally occurs later in life when the ciliary muscles of our eyes, they become weak due to age, and due to the weakening of the ciliary muscles, the eye lens, its flexibility is affected. It doesn't remain as flexible as it used to be in the younger days, and that is when hypermetropia steps in. So we have another name for hypermetropia. We call it as presbyopia, and it is known as old age hypermetropia. Now, this name is given only when a hypermetropia sets it at a very old age. In this, the person cannot read comfortably and clearly without spectacles. The reason being that the ciliary muscles, they become weak, and the flexibility of the eye lens is reduced due to old age. So this is the name given, that is presbyopia. When hypermetropia occurs in old age, we call it as presbyopia. The correction remains the same, that is by using a convex lens of a suitable focal length, right? So moving on to the next defect. Now this is not exactly a new defect. We are combining the two defects that we have already studied. The first one was myopia, the second one was hypermetropia. Now, in case a person suffers from both the defects together, then what? We don't have a name for that defect, but yes, there can be people who are suffering from both myopia as well as hypermetropia at the same time. And in this case, we have a correction by using bifocal lens. So you must have seen people wearing spectacles which look somewhat like this. I'm drawing it on your screen. You can just have a look at this. So this is the pair of spectacles that I am drawing. And in this spectacles, on the lower side, we have a curve like this, which is sometimes visible also. Now, what happens is that the upper half is a concave lens for distant vision, and the lower half is a convex lens for nearby vision. Now, when we are looking straight, when we want to look at a distance, we generally look straight. So that is why the upper half is a concave lens. And when we are reading or when we are doing something which needs a closer view, we generally place it close to our eyes and we look down. So that is why the lower half is a convex lens for nearby vision. And such type of spectacles are known as bifocal lens. The spectacles, they are having bifocal lens fitted in them. And otherwise, what people do is that they carry two pair of spectacles, one for near vision and one for distant vision. But in that case, it becomes a bit tedious. You have to change your spectacles every time you want to read something, or when you're watching the television, you need the separate pair of spectacles. So it's better that, or you can say that this is a convenient way out in which a single set of spectacles will serve both the functions. So this is about when a person suffers from both myopia as well as hypermetropia. Now, the next defect of vision is cataract. This is also known as motiabind. In Hindi, we call it as motia. What happens is that as we age, the eye lens gets deposited with certain sugars and proteins. The sugar and the proteins, they get deposited on the eye lens, making it cloudy, and the vision becomes blurred or hazy. We are not able to see clearly because of the deposits on the eye lens. because under normal conditions, the eye lens is transparent, and if it is transparent, it allows the light to pass through it completely. But when the things such as sugar or proteins get deposited on it, first it becomes translucent, and if it is not corrected, it may even turn opaque, reducing the vision drastically. The person may even become somewhat blind. So for this, we have a cataract surgery. In this surgery, there are two ways out. If the problem is not that severe, the doctor puts some medicines and they scrape off the proteins and the sugars from the lenses, and the normal vision is restored. But if the problem is too much, it's been a long time that the deposition has been taking place, in such cases these days the lens is replaced by an artificial lens. So the natural lens which is present in our eye is replaced by an artificial lens. So that helps in solving the problem of cataract, and the normal vision of the person is restored. So this is a very, very common surgery undertaken by lots of people, and not a very serious one. It's a small surgery, but yes, it does affect the vision of a person. So this is all. Do hit the like button if you like the contents of the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos, and share this link with your friends. Thanks for watching.